Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another WWE video. In today's video, I am going to be ranking every Royal Rumble winner from 2005 to present. The reason I'm not going to do every single Royal Rumble is because I wasn't watching until about 2005, 2006, meaning I don't really have a live opinion on how I would have felt on the Royal Rumbles before then. Maybe I would have loved them, maybe I would have hated them, I don't know. So we'll just be doing the last 20 where I've been a fan. Couple of plugs before we start. Don't forget to use code Wyatt's World on G Fuel or Prize Picks, where you can save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products or match up to $100 of your first deposit. But that's all I've got. Let's get into ranking Royal Rumble winners. Alright, so starting off, we've got the Royal Rumble 2005, where the winner was none other than the animal himself, Big Dave Batista. And I also give the outcome of this Royal Rumble an A. It was what needed to happen. Either him or John Cena was going to win that Rumble and go on to main event WrestleMania, where they were going to win the title. They both ended up winning them anyway. But it was the literal perfect time to start the transition into, you know, the next faces of the company. Batista needed this win to kind of break out for his singles role. Went on to main event WrestleMania 21, where he would defeat Triple H, and that pretty much solidified him as one of the faces of the company for like the next 10 years. Actually, it was probably only like 6 years, but I wouldn't have changed a thing about the Royal Rumble in 2005. Moving on, we got the Royal Rumble 2006. Now, this was the one where I really, started actively watching as a fan. And this is also my most nostalgic one because Rey Mysterio entered at number 2 and ended up outlasting everyone, defying the odds and winning the Royal Rumble match. Now, this had a little bit more meaning to it because Eddie Guerrero's passing was just months before and he was like the best friend of Rey Mysterio. So I'm sure that played into this decision, but this also led Rey Mysterio into one of the main events of WrestleMania 22 where he would go on to capture the World Heavyweight Championship. Again, I don't mean to sound like a guy who's fiending for nostalgia, but I give this one an A. It brought us fantastic moments, it gave us a great story, and it gave us what I consider Rey Mysterio's best world title run. Now moving on, we got the Royal Rumble 2007, where Big Marky Mark Calloway won it, also known as The Undertaker. I promise this isn't gonna keep going, but this one also gets an A. You're gonna tell me The Undertaker getting a Royal Rumble win in his prime wasn't amazing? Dude, he had such a crazy aura back then. Like, when he won that match, you knew whoever he picked was fucked. If you guys didn't know, he ended up picking Batista and defeating him in one of the main events of WrestleMania 23, which gave us a start to what I consider Undertaker's second prime. I mean, I think he went on to hold the world title after this, what, 3, 4 times? Either way, I love the booking back then and I still love it now. I remember the lead up to WrestleMania 23 after this too. Taker would just show up on every show and threaten the major champion until he finally picked his opponent. Elite times. Moving on, we got the Royal Rumble 2008. The winner was John Cena, returning at number 30, and you might be expecting me to say an A here, but I'm actually going to say a B. I still think to this day Undertaker should have went back-to-back. He should have won that Royal Rumble and went on to beat Edge, which he already did, but I didn't like how they had Cena come back at 30 and win, and then waste his opportunity at No Way Out, where it would then go on to a triple threat at WrestleMania where they would both lose to Randy Orton, which I wasn't really that upset about, but feels like they just took Cena's win here and got it out of the way as fast as they could so they could get Triple H into the mix. Like, I did not like it. Good winner, not good aftermath. Now moving on, we got the Royal Rumble 2009, where Randy Orton would win it, and this one gets a D. This was a shit show. It was a shit show for 2 reasons. One, because you knew Randy Orton was gonna win the match before it even started. They did the stupid "you're fired if you lose" thing, so like you knew he was gonna win. And for 2, he went on to lose to Triple H in the fucking main event of WrestleMania 25, which for 1, the booking was shit there, and the outcome was senseless. Now we got Royal Rumble 2010, where the winner was a returning Edge. I think he came back at number 28. Anyway, this Rumble actually gets an A from me. For 1, the Royal Rumble match itself was terrific, loaded with stars. For 2, Edge coming back and winning was an epic moment. And for 3, Edge didn't need to win at WrestleMania here. Neither did Chris Jericho, to be honest. And it's not like it mattered anyway, because Jack Swagger cashed in and won on him, I think, 5 nights after that. This Royal Rumble decision was either give it to the returning Edge and let him finish his story with Jericho, or they would have had to give it to Batista, and instead of him coming out and beating Cena for the title after the Chamber, would have just failed to beat him at WrestleMania. The winner was never going to win at WrestleMania anyway. Now we got the Royal Rumble 2011, known as the biggest Royal Rumble of all time, and also the shittiest. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not the biggest. If we don't count the greatest Royal Rumble ever in Saudi Arabia, this was the biggest, because it had 40 people. And the winner was none other than Alberto Del Rio. Yeah, this one gets a big fat F. For one, the Rumble was ass. There was maybe 5 total people in there that you thought, hey, they might win it. Otherwise, it was just absolute trolls. For 2, Alberto Del Rio sucked ass, and it was so random. I mean, yeah, you don't want it to be predictable, but like, you could have given it to Orton or Sheamus. John Cena would have made more sense here with his feud with The Miz. But no, you give it to Alberto Del Rio to go on and lose to Edge in the opening match of WrestleMania 27. Like, it was just shit. People often look back at that Royal Rumble and ask who won it because it just made no sense. Now we got the Royal Rumble 2012, and it was Sheamus who won it. I actually give this one a B because I thought, for one, Chris Jericho was going to win this match. The entire build-up was Chris Jericho returning to win it. However, Sheamus would then go on to open up WrestleMania 28 against Daniel Bryan, where he did win, but the match was 18 seconds. Like, to me at that time, it kind of just felt like they were taking the Royal Rumble winners and treating them like they weren't special anymore. Like the winner, like the outcome, just didn't like how it all happened. Moving on, we got the Royal Rumble 2013, and once again, it was big match John Cena winning it, and I want to say he came out at 19 in this one. To me, a diehard John Cena fan, this was an A+. After his loss to The Rock, that's all I wanted to see. That's all. I wanted to see him win the Rumble, and I wanted to see him beat The Rock at WrestleMania. Also, who in the absolute living fuck were they gonna give this to? Because the world title feud at the time was Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger. There was no other option here. A little bit predictable, yes, but like I said, I was a diehard John Cena fan. All right, and now moving on, we got the Royal Rumble 2014, which was won by Batista, and this one gets an F, but I have a theory on it. I think if Batista's return would have never leaked and it would have been kept a secret, the fans would have ate it right the fuck up. But his return was leaked, they had to bring him back early, and they made it painfully obvious that he was gonna win and go on to main event WrestleMania, and nobody wanted to see it then. So that gave the birth of the Yes Movement, which inserted Daniel Bryan into the title picture and ended up with him winning it. But if you look at the Royal Rumble winner here, Batista, fucking pointless. Came back, won the Rumble, lost at Mania, lasted 2 more pay-per-views, and then dipped out. Like, what was the point? Now we got the Royal Rumble 2015, where the winner was Roman Reigns. This one's weird. It's notoriously hated because it's one of the most predictable Rumble outcomes ever, and the fans were fucking furious with it. But if you really look back into it, there was no other winner here besides Roman Reigns. Like, it had to happen. He was destined to go and fight Brock, which, I mean, ended up resulting in the heist of the century with Seth Rollins. But the winner here, if you're asking me, it had to have been Roman Reigns. So I'm actually gonna give it a B. But it's just that we knew we were having someone shoved down our throats, and the fact that they brought The Rock out to try and get us to cheer him showed that they knew the fans were gonna reject it. Now we got the Royal Rumble 2016, where Triple H won it, and the WWE title in the process. F. This was one of those things where you knew Triple H was coming, and you just waited till 30, and you shut your eyes when you heard the music because you didn't want to hear it. This should have either been Brock winning the Rumble and facing Roman again. Dean Ambrose could have won the Royal Rumble here. Roman could have retained, and it would have made a better story. But no, Triple H came out at 30 and won the belt, went on to main event WrestleMania in one of the worst main events of all time, where he would drop the belt to Roman Reigns and then just dip out behind the scenes. Like, stupid. Moving on to the Royal Rumble 2017, we had Randy Orton's second Royal Rumble victory, where he would go on to defeat Bray Wyatt for the WWE title at WrestleMania 33. This one gets a B. I was really happy with the outcome being Randy Orton, although Bray could have won it. However, I do not think Orton should have won at WrestleMania here. He should have went on to lose it. But I will say right now, anything is better than Goldberg winning that Rumble, which I actually thought for a little bit he was gonna fucking do. Now moving on, we got the Royal Rumble 2018, and this is where we see the introduction of the Women's Royal Rumbles. So the men's winner here was Shinsuke Nakamura, and the women's winner was Asuka. I honestly think the winners here were both the right choices. I give them A's. It's just that WWE shit the bed with the booking. They had them both lose. Like, what the fuck are you thinking there? That was dumb as hell. Now moving on, we got the Royal Rumble 2019 where we had Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch win. Seth gets a C, Becky gets an A. Becky was the hottest thing in wrestling at that point. For her to come out and take someone's spot and win was the right call 100%. Seth, now I don't think he was a bad outcome, but I remember being really bored during this match and knowing that he was gonna win. And looking back at it now, knowing the WrestleMania card we got, if we could somehow swap Seth and Kofi Kingston winning, I think that would have been absolutely great. Also, again, the Royal Rumble winner opening a WrestleMania? What the fuck? Even though I know that was Seth and Brock's call. Now moving on, we got the Royal Rumble 2020, known as the saddest Royal Rumble ever. Winners were Drew McIntyre and Charlotte Flair. The outcome for Drew is an A, the outcome for Charlotte is a B, and they never got to have the WrestleMania in front of a live audience. It's absolutely horrendous. Reason Charlotte gets a B from me as well is because Bianca should have won this Royal Rumble. I know she ended up getting one eventually, but Charlotte, she didn't need it. I mean, she used the win for the NXT title. And now moving on, we got the Royal Rumble 2021 where we would see the winners being Edge and Bianca Belair. Edge is a B, Bianca is an A. I mean, Bianca went on to main event WrestleMania Night 1 against Sasha Banks in a banger of a match where she would win the SmackDown Women's title. And Edge would go on to main event Night 2 against Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. And that's where they lost me there. I still think to this day, as cool as the pin 'em, stack 'em, whatever the hell the slang was, this should have always been Roman and Edge one-on-one for the belt. Whether Edge was gonna win or not, which I know he wasn't. I didn't like that this was turned into a triple threat basically because they felt like Daniel Bryan needed to be a part of it. There was a whole fucking roster of guys you could have put Daniel Bryan one-on-one with, and you could have given him a final send-off match with a win. That'll bring us to the Royal Rumble 2022. The winners here were Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey. F, F, and F. Not only did both winners go on to lose at WrestleMania, but both winners were dog shit picks. A returning Ronda Rousey who the fans hated the first time she was around, and Brock Lesnar, who I heard went backstage and pretty much forced his way into this match to win it. I mean, that's what led to the major titles being unified, and that's what led to the product being terrible for 2 years. And now moving on, we got the Royal Rumble 2023 where the winners were Rhea Ripley and Cody Rhodes. Rhea gets an A, Cody gets a B. Look, Rhea came in at number 1, put on an absolute clinic, won the match, and then beat Charlotte at WrestleMania in a 5-star classic. Cody, I mean, he wasn't a bad pick, but it was the fact that WWE literally pretty much just told us that he was gonna win before he even came in the match. I mean, it was that obvious. And then he would go on to lose at WrestleMania, which would cause me to walk out of WWE for 9 months. No matter how big the moment we got at WrestleMania 40 was, I will always say that he should have never lost at WrestleMania 39. And ending with the Royal Rumble 2024, we have again the winner being Cody Rhodes and the women's being Bayley. Women's Rumble gets an A. WWE has been on fire with booking the winner of the Women's Rumble, honestly. And Cody winning, again, I give a B because I called this back in May of last year that he was gonna win back-to-back. Like, no, predictability isn't always a bad thing, but the last 2 years that I've watched the Men's Royal Rumble, I have not had an ounce of surprise inside me. Like, they haven't been fun Rumbles to watch. There's been zero suspense. But at least Cody did, in fact, go on this time to finish the story and leave me a happy camper. And that is going to be all, ladies and gentlemen, for me grading Royal Rumble winners. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to let me know where you disagree. Feel free to let me know where you agree. And feel free to drop more wrestling recommendations for future videos. However, with everything I just said, I'm going to get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. I hope you have a fantastic and safe rest of your week. And as always, I will see you in the next upload.